Professor Marcus Webb stood at the front of the lecture hall and looked at the alien students sitting before him. There were 17 different species in the room. Some sat on chairs. Some floated above the ground. Some hung from special frames attached to the ceiling. The room smelled like chemicals and burning metal because aliens needed different air to breathe. Marcus held up his right hand. He spread his fingers wide so everyone could see. The hand looked normal for a human, but it was something these aliens needed to understand. Humans have 5 fingers on each hand, Marcus said. His voice was loud and clear. This simple fact changed everything about our species. Everything. A Valorian student moved forward on the bench. The Valorian was made of crystal that shined blue under the classroom lights. Its form was hard and rigid. It did not have fingers. Instead, it had edges and points that stuck out from its body. "Professor," the Valorian said. Its voice sounded like ice cracking. "Your 5 fingers are weak. My species has 10 edges that can cut through stone. Why do humans need time to learn grip techniques when superior beings like us can break things apart with ease?" Marcus smiled. He had heard this question before from many alien students. They always thought that strength meant everything. They did not understand human grip techniques at all. "Let me show you," Marcus said. He walked to a table next to the lecture stand. On the table sat a metal ball with deep grooves carved into it. The grooves were small and close together. A human hand could grip these grooves perfectly. An alien hand could not. Marcus picked up the metal ball. His fingers wrapped around it with control and power. He twisted the ball slowly. The grooves let his fingers move with exact precision. The human hand did not just use strength. It used feeling and control and tiny movements that required millions of years of evolution to develop. "This is grip technique," Marcus said. "It is not about strength alone. It is about control. A human can hold something so tight that it cannot break free. A human can also hold something so gentle that a new baby will not feel pain. The same hand can do both things." A Krell student moved its long tentacles around in circles. The Krell had 8 tentacles instead of hands. These tentacles could stretch and bend in any direction. The Krell thought this made them better than humans. "Why would we need 5 fingers when we have 8 arms?" The Krell said. "Humans seem limited to me. Why should we study humans at all?" Marcus put the metal ball down. He held up his hand again. This time, he made a simple fist. Then he opened his hand flat. Then he bent his fingers in different patterns. Each movement was smooth and quick. "Because humans use their hands for everything," Marcus explained. "We build. We create. We repair. We fight. We write. We eat. We care for our children. The human hand is the most important tool we ever developed. Better than any weapon. Better than any machine." A young Thelian student raised her head. The Thelian was small and round, covered in soft skin that changed colors with her emotions. Right now her skin was light blue, which meant she was thinking hard about something. "But Professor Marcus, humans are not the only species with hands," the Thelian said. Her name was Pix. She was one of the best students in the class. "Why are human hands special? What makes them different?" Marcus felt good about this question. This was the real question that mattered. "Humans evolved on a world called Earth," he said. "Earth is a dangerous planet. The weather changes fast. Food is hard to find. There are animals that want to kill you. Humans had to become smarter to survive. We had to use our hands to build tools. We had to use our hands to make weapons. We had to use our hands to create shelter. Over millions of years, our hands became perfect at doing these things." Marcus walked toward the center of the room. He began to show them the proper grip technique for holding a tool. He picked up a metal rod from the table. He held it with one specific grip. His thumb wrapped around the metal rod in a certain way. His fingers curved in a special pattern. His wrist stayed straight. His whole arm stayed balanced. "This grip is called the power grip," Marcus said. "It lets humans move heavy objects with control. Watch how the thumb presses against the fingers. Watch how the wrist does not bend. This is not something humans are born knowing. We have to learn it. But once we learn it, we can do amazing things." Marcus held the rod up higher. Then he moved it through the air in smooth motions. The grip looked perfect. The rod stayed steady. Nothing moved out of position. The other students in the classroom watched carefully. Some of them tried to understand what made this so special. Then the classroom door opened. A human walked in. His name was Kevin Page. He was a human intern at the Galactic Institute. Kevin was young and had brown hair and dark eyes. He wore the blue uniform of Institute workers. Everyone looked at him because humans rarely came into the alien classrooms. Kevin looked at Marcus. Then he looked at the metal rod that Marcus was holding. Then he looked back at Marcus again. "Professor," Kevin said. His voice was quiet but firm. "Why are you doing it that way?" Marcus stopped moving the rod. He held it still in the air. He looked at his grip. He looked at his hand. He looked at the position of his wrist and his arm. Then Marcus understood. He had made a mistake. The human intern walked toward the front of the classroom. He walked to the table and picked up another metal rod. Kevin positioned his hand on the rod very carefully. His thumb wrapped around the metal in a different way than Marcus had done it. His fingers curved in a different pattern. His wrist angle was different. His whole position was different. "This is the right way," Kevin said. He moved the rod through the air. The movement was smoother than what Marcus had done. The rod felt lighter in his hand. The grip was much stronger. The classroom fell silent. The alien students did not move. A human was correcting Professor Marcus Webb about human grip techniques. The teacher had been wrong. The intern had been right. Marcus felt his face become hot. But he was not angry at Kevin. He was shocked at himself. He had studied human grip techniques for many years. He had read books about it. He had written papers about it. But he had never actually learned how to do it himself. He had only studied it from far away, like it was something dead and useless, not something that was alive and important. Kevin put down the rod. He looked at the alien students with a calm face. "Humans learn this grip technique when we are very young," Kevin said. "We practice it every day for years. By the time we are adults, it becomes part of us. It is not just knowledge. It is skill. It is something we feel in our bones." The Valorian student spoke again, but this time the ice-cracking voice sounded uncertain. "But you are just one human," the Valorian said. "One human correcting one professor. This does not prove that human grip techniques are superior. It only proves that your professor never learned them correctly." Kevin turned to look at the Valorian student directly. "That is exactly the point," Kevin said. The week after Kevin corrected Marcus in the lecture hall, everything changed. Marcus sent a message to Kevin asking for his help. Kevin agreed to come back to the classroom and help teach a real practical lesson about grip techniques. Marcus felt ashamed. He had taught these techniques for years without actually understanding them. But Kevin did not make him feel bad about it. Kevin just smiled and said that most aliens had the same problem. They studied humans, but never really learned how humans actually worked. "We can turn this into something good," Kevin told Marcus. They sat in Marcus's office drinking coffee. Kevin drank his coffee black and hot. Marcus drank his with cream because he was not human and could not handle the heat well. "Let me make a real test," Kevin said. "Let your students try the grip techniques. See which ones can actually do it right. Most of them will fail. And when they fail, they will understand why humans are harder to underestimate than they think. Marcus nodded. This was a good plan. The next class started with Kevin standing at the front of the room. He had brought simple tools and objects that required the correct grip technique to use them properly. He had metal rods. He had precision instruments that could only work if held correctly. He had wooden objects that needed specific grip pressure to not break. "Today you will not learn from a professor," Kevin said. His voice was clear and direct. "Today you will fail. And failure will teach you more than any lecture ever could." The Valorian student stepped forward first. The Valorian wanted to prove that its crystal body could do anything a soft human body could do. Kevin handed the Valorian a precision cutting tool. The tool looked like a knife, but with tiny adjustments built into the handle. "You need to make a cut exactly 1 millimeter wide," Kevin explained. "The tool will only work if your grip is perfect. If your grip is even slightly wrong, the blade will not go where you want it to go." The Valorian took the tool. Its hard crystal edges tried to wrap around the metal handle. But crystal is rigid and does not bend like human skin does. The edges could not adjust to the small spaces on the handle. The Valorian pushed harder and harder, trying to make its edges fit. Nothing worked. The blade would not cut straight. The cut came out 3 millimeters wide instead of 1. The Valorian handed the tool back to Kevin with frustrated movements. "This tool is poorly designed," the Valorian said. "My species needs better tools that work with crystal edges." Kevin shook his head. "The tool is designed perfectly for hands like mine. Your body just cannot do what this tool needs. There is nothing wrong with the tool." Next came the Krell student. The Krell had 8 tentacles that were long and flexible. Kevin thought the Krell might do better because flexible bodies should be able to adjust more easily. Kevin gave the Krell a different task. He placed a soft rubber ball in front of the Krell and asked it to squeeze the ball with exactly the right pressure. Too much pressure and the ball would pop. Too little pressure and the ball would slip away. The Krell wrapped its tentacles around the ball. At first, it seemed like it might work. The tentacles were flexible enough to adjust. But human grip technique is not just about flexibility. It is about bone structure and muscle placement and nerve sensitivity all working together in a specific way. The Krell's tentacles could not feel the small changes in pressure the way human skin can. The Krell squeezed too hard and the ball exploded in a shower of rubber pieces. Black liquid sprayed everywhere. "I do not understand," the Krell said. "My tentacles have more control than human fingers. How can I fail?" Kevin picked up some of the rubber pieces from the floor. "Because your tentacles are built differently than our hands. You have flexibility but not the exact feeling we have. You cannot know if you are pressing too hard or too soft because you do not feel pressure the same way we do." Species after species came forward. A Thalian student tried to use a tool that needed exact grip control. Her soft skin could grip the handle, but she did not have the bone structure to hold the position without shaking. A Xanthian student with hard plates on its hands could not adjust its grip enough for the delicate work. A Krall student with sharp claws kept puncturing the objects it was supposed to be fixing. By the end of the class, every single alien student had failed. Not because they lacked strength. Not because they lacked intelligence. They failed because their bodies were not designed like human bodies. They did not have hands like human hands. They could not do things that human hands could do. Kevin did not make them feel bad about their failures. He explained that each species had different advantages. But when it came to grip technique and precise hand control, humans had an advantage that evolution gave them over millions of years. Why did no one ever tell us this? The young Thalian student Pix asked. She was frustrated, but not in an angry way. She was frustrated because she felt like the alien races had missed something important about humans. Because humans never bothered to explain, Kevin said. We were too busy living and building and surviving. We did not care what other species thought about our hands. We just used them. That night, Marcus took Kevin to a restaurant near the Institute. The restaurant was one of the few places where humans and aliens could eat together. Marcus paid for Kevin's meal as thanks for helping with the class. I have studied humans for 23 years, Marcus said. He was drinking something that looked like juice, but was not. I have read everything written about human grip techniques. But I did not understand until I saw you fail as a Valorian failed and a Krell failed. They failed because they are not human. I failed because I am not human, but I was trying to teach human knowledge. Kevin cut into his meat and took a bite. He chewed carefully before he spoke. The problem is that we are too quiet, Kevin said. Humans could rule the galaxy if we wanted to. But we do not want to rule. We want to build things and protect people we care about. Most of the galaxy thinks we are just another species. They do not understand that we chose not to show them what we can do. Marcus felt something change inside him when Kevin said this. It was like a door opening in his mind. He had spent his whole life studying humans like they were something to be understood from the outside. But humans were not something to study. Humans were something to learn from. And the only way to really learn from humans was to actually become like them. Will you teach me? Marcus asked. Will you teach me the proper grip techniques? Not as a professor learning from a student, but as someone who wants to understand? Kevin smiled. It was a real smile, not a polite one. Yes, Kevin said. I will teach you. But you have to be willing to fail many times before you learn. That is the human way. We fail and we learn and we try again until we get it right. Marcus agreed. The next morning, he came to Kevin's workshop. Kevin gave him a simple wooden rod and told him to hold it correctly. It took Marcus 2 hours to figure out the right grip. His alien hand did not have the same structure as a human hand. But he could learn the feeling. He could learn the position. He could learn to do it even if his body was different. By the end of the week, Marcus could hold a rod correctly. By the end of the month, he could use simple tools. By the end of the year, he was teaching his class differently. He was teaching with understanding instead of just knowledge. And his students began to see humans not as something strange to study, but as something to respect and learn from. Pick spent time with Kevin after class, asking him questions about human history and human society. She began to understand that grip techniques were only the beginning. Behind grip techniques was thousands of years of human culture and human thinking and human ways of solving problems. The galaxy was beginning to understand that it had seriously underestimated humanity. The message arrived on a morning when the sky above the Institute was gray and heavy with rain. Marcus was in his office preparing for the afternoon class when his communication device started making a loud noise. The noise meant something important was coming through from the Galactic Council. Marcus pressed the button, and the screen filled with official symbols and titles. The message was written in the formal language of the Council. It said that the Council wanted a complete report on human capabilities. The report had to be detailed and accurate. The report had to be delivered in 5 days. Marcus read the message twice. Something felt wrong about it. The Council rarely asked for reports about individual species. Usually, they only wanted information when there was a problem or a threat. He went to Kevin's workshop immediately. Kevin was fixing a broken piece of equipment when Marcus arrived. The equipment looked like it came from an alien ship. Marcus had no idea how Kevin could understand something so complicated, but Kevin had steady hands and focused eyes. He worked without stopping until he saw Marcus standing in the doorway. The Council wants a report about humans, Marcus said. About our capabilities. Why would they suddenly want this? Kevin put down his tools and wiped his hands on a cloth. His expression became serious in a way that Marcus had never seen before. Because someone is making trouble, Kevin said. "Come with me. I need to show you something that humans know, but your institute does not." Kevin took Marcus to a secure room deep below the institute. The room had walls made of metal and thick doors that locked from the inside. Kevin had access because he was registered as human staff at the institute. He typed in codes and passwords until the doors opened. Inside the room were screens, showing real-time information from all the human colonies across the galaxy. The colonies were small compared to the territories of other species. Humans had not spread across the stars like aliens had. But there they were, scattered across known space. 27 colonies on different planets and space stations. 3 weeks ago, a coalition of alien species began making threats toward these colonies, Kevin explained. He pointed to different locations on the screens. The coalition says humans are occupying resources that belong to other species. The coalition says humans do not have the strength to defend these territories. They want humans to leave peacefully, or they will come and force humans to leave. Marcus felt cold inside. He had no idea this was happening. His world at the Institute seemed far away from the dangerous reality of frontier colonies. What species are in this coalition? Marcus asked. The Valorians, the Krell, the Xantians, the ones who came to your classroom and failed at the grip techniques. They failed and they felt angry about it. Now they are looking for ways to prove that humans are weak. Kevin showed Marcus videos from human colonies. He showed Marcus people working in mines, pulling raw materials from the ground. He showed Marcus engineers building structures that would protect the colonies from dangerous weather and worse. He showed Marcus people living normal lives, not knowing that somewhere in the galaxy, other species were planning to destroy everything they had built. The council is asking for a report because they heard about the threats, Kevin said. But they do not understand what it means. They think humans are just like any other species. They think we are weak because we do not have crystal bodies or tentacles or hard plates. They do not understand what our hands can do. They do not understand that humans can build and defend and survive in ways that no other species can match. Marcus felt the weight of understanding fall on him. The report that the council wanted was not just an academic exercise. The report would decide whether the galaxy took humans seriously or whether the coalition's threats would go unanswered. What do they want from the report? Marcus asked. They want to know if humans are a serious threat to other species, Kevin said. If the report says humans are dangerous, the council will protect the colonies. If the report says humans are weak, the coalition will attack. Your report will decide what happens next. Marcus went back to his office and began to work on the report. But he did not work alone. Kevin stayed with him every night. They gathered information about human history. They collected data about human achievements. They showed the council statistics about human engineering and human military capability and human survival rates in dangerous environments. But numbers were not enough. Marcus knew that numbers could be explained away by other species as luck or accident. Marcus needed to show the council something real. He needed to show them what humans could actually do. The answer came when Marcus thought about what he had learned from Kevin. He had learned grip techniques. He had learned that human hands were powerful tools that other species could not match. He had learned that this simple fact meant everything. The night before the report was due, Marcus called a private meeting with Kevin and Pix. The young Thelian had become close to both of them. She wanted to help. We cannot just tell the council that humans are dangerous, Marcus said. We have to show them. We have to make them understand with their own eyes and their own experience. Kevin nodded. There is one way to do this. We can set up a demonstration. We can invite the council members to see human capability in action. But humans are not a violent species, Pix said. How can we show our capability without threatening them? "We do not need violence," Marcus said. He was beginning to understand what humans understood. "We show them what we can build. We show them what we can repair. We show them what we can create. This is real power. More powerful than weapons. Weapons destroy things. Hands and minds together create things. Creation is more powerful than destruction." The next day, Marcus submitted the report. But he added something unusual to the official document. He added an invitation. He invited the Galactic Council to send representatives to a special demonstration. He promised them that they would see something that would change how they understood humanity. The council accepted the invitation. They said that the demonstration would happen in 10 days. They would send representatives from all the major species: Valorians, Krell, Xantians, Thelians, and 17 others would come to the Institute to see what humans could do. Kevin told Marcus that humans on the frontier colonies were preparing for war. They did not know about the demonstration. They did not know that humans at the Institute were trying to prevent the attack with knowledge instead of weapons. "What if they do not come?" Kevin asked Marcus one night. "What if the demonstration fails?" Marcus did not answer right away. He looked at his hands. His alien hands that had learned to hold things the human way. His hands that had learned to feel and adjust and control. His hands that were not human but had learned to think like human hands. "Then we will show them something even more powerful," Marcus said. "We will show them that one human can teach an alien species how to be human. We will show them that humanity is not about the shape of your hands or the structure of your body. Humanity is about the will to learn and the ability to teach and the choice to build instead of destroy." The 10 days passed slowly. The demonstration setup began in a special chamber in the Institute. Humans from colonies across known space traveled to the Institute to participate. Engineers and builders and creators came to show the galaxy what human hands could do. The day of the demonstration arrived. The Alien Council members took their seats. They wanted to be impressed. They also wanted to be unimpressed so they could prove that humans were not a threat. They came with their minds made up. They did not know that they were about to see something that would change everything. The demonstration chamber was the largest room in the Galactic Institute. The ceiling was very high. The floor was polished metal that reflected light from every direction. All the Alien Council members sat in elevated seats so they could see everything that happened below them. The Valorian representative sat in the front row. His name was Council Speaker Zix. Behind Zix sat the Krell delegates with their long tentacles wrapped around special supports. Behind them were Xantians, Thelians, and representatives from 12 other alien species. There were 50 council members in total. Kevin stood in the center of the demonstration chamber. He was alone at first. Behind him lay several objects covered with white claws. The objects were hidden so the council members could not see what they were. Marcus sat in a special box above the demonstration chamber. He would not be speaking. Kevin would be speaking. This was important. A human needed to represent humanity, not an alien who had learned about humans. Kevin looked directly at the council members. His face was calm and serious. His voice was steady. 6 days ago, your species began making threats toward human colonies, Kevin said. You said that humans do not have the strength to defend our territories. You said humans do not have the capabilities to be a real threat to your interests. You said humans should leave our settlements and go somewhere else. I am here to answer these claims with facts instead of words. The Valorian speaker moved forward on its seat. You are just one human. One human cannot prove anything about an entire species. Kevin did not respond to this. Instead, he turned to the covered objects. He uncovered the first one. The object was a precision cutting machine. It was broken. It had been broken badly. The metal frame was twisted. The cutting tool inside was bent out of shape. The machine looked completely useless and beyond repair. This machine was built 200 years ago by human engineers on the colony of Kepler-7, Kevin explained. The machine is used to cut materials with extreme precision. The machine is used in factories to create parts for ships and buildings and weapons. This particular machine was damaged in a transport accident 3 months ago. The Valorian engineers said it could not be repaired. The Krell engineers said it was too complex to fix. The Xantians said it was a waste of materials and should be destroyed. Kevin moved to the broken machine. He picked up tools that were laid out beside it. The tools looked simple. Metal rods with handles, knives with sharp edges, pliers that could grip and twist. All the basic tools that humans had used for thousands of years. "I'm going to repair this machine using only my hands and basic tools," Kevin said. "I will do this in front of all of you. I will show you what human hands can do." Kevin began the work. First, he took the twisted metal frame and examined it carefully. His fingers ran over the damage. His eyes studied every bent edge and broken joint. Then he selected a hammer and a special metal rod. Working slowly and carefully, Kevin began to fix the frame. He placed the metal rod against the twisted frame and struck it with the hammer using the correct grip technique. The grip was important. If he did not hold the hammer correctly, he would miss the target or strike too hard and damage the machine more. Each strike was precise. Each strike was in exactly the right place with exactly the right amount of force. Kevin worked for an hour straightening the frame. The alien council members watched without moving. Next, Kevin turned to the cutting tool itself. The blade was bent so badly that it looked like scrap metal. Kevin heated the metal using a special furnace that sat in the corner of the demonstration chamber. When the metal was hot enough, Kevin used pliers to carefully bend the blade back into its original shape. The grip on the pliers was important. Too loose and Kevin would drop the hot metal. Too tight and Kevin would bend the metal in the wrong direction. Kevin adjusted his grip constantly as he worked. His hands knew exactly how much pressure to use, even as the metal changed temperature and shape. After 2 hours, the blade began to look correct again. Kevin cooled the metal slowly to make sure it would not crack. Then he installed the blade back into the machine frame. The final step was testing the machine. Kevin picked up a piece of soft metal. He placed it into the now repaired machine. He activated the cutting mechanism using careful adjustments to make sure the blade would cut cleanly. The blade came down and sliced the metal perfectly. 1 millimeter wide. Exactly 1 millimeter. Not 1.1 millimeters. Not 0.9 millimeters. Exactly 1 millimeter. Kevin looked up at the council members. 200-year-old machine, Kevin said. Destroyed beyond repair, according to 3 different alien species. Fixed with basic tools and human hands. The machine works perfectly. Now I want to invite one of you to step down and try to do what I just did. The Valorian speaker Zix did not move. I choose the Valorian, Kevin said. You were the one who said that human hands are weak and primitive. Come down and show me how you would repair this machine. Zix had to come down. It was a matter of pride. Zix moved slowly from the elevated seats down to the demonstration chamber. The Valorian's crystal body caught the light and threw rainbow colors across the DEOs. Walls. Kevin handed Zix the pliers and pointed to a piece of twisted metal that still needed to be adjusted. Make this metal bend back, too. Its original shape, Kevin said. Use the same technique I used. Zix gripped the metal with its hard edges. The pliers looked like toys in the hands of the large alien. The Valorian was much stronger than Kevin. The Valorian had more mass. The Valorian had more raw power. But the Valorian could not feel what the metal was telling it. The Valorian could not sense when the metal had been bent enough. The Valorian could not adjust the grip to apply exactly the right pressure. Zix gripped the metal too hard, and it snapped in half. The piece of metal fell to the floor in 2 pieces. "I see," Zix said. The voice was quiet now. Not defiant, just quiet. "Your strength is not in force alone." Kevin did not say anything. He picked up another piece of twisted metal and handed it to Zix again. "Try again," Kevin said. "Do not grip so hard this time. Feel the metal. Listen to what it is telling you." But Zix could not do it. The Valorian body was not designed to feel subtle sensations. The crystal edges could not sense pressure changes the way human skin could. Zix tried 3 more times and failed each time. Kevin took the pliers back from Zix. He looked at every council member as the Valorian returned to its seat. "This is what you do not understand about humanity," Kevin said. "We do not measure strength by force alone. We measure strength by what we can create. We measure strength by what we can build that lasts for thousands of years. We measure strength by our ability to teach others what we know and by our ability to learn from others what they know." Kevin moved to a second covered object. He uncovered it and revealed a human child's hand, the left hand of a small girl, no older than 8 years old. The hand was attached to a special display that showed the bones and muscles and nerves inside the hand. "Every human child learns grip techniques as naturally as breathing," Kevin explained. "We learn from the moment we can hold objects. By the time we are adults, our hands have become tools that can do almost anything. We can repair a machine that is 200 years old. We can perform surgery. We can create art. We can build cities. We can defend our people." The Thelian student Pix moved forward in her seat. She was watching Kevin with intense focus. "What you see as a limitation is actually an advantage," Kevin continued. "Human hands are not the strongest, but human hands are the most controllable. Human hands are the most flexible in how they can be used. Human hands are connected to human minds that are always thinking about how to solve problems." Kevin looked directly at the Valorian speaker Zix. "Your people came to intimidate humans," Kevin said. "You thought humans would be easy to push around. You thought humans would abandon their colonies without a fight. But you did not understand what you were facing. You were not facing a species with the strongest bodies. You were facing a species with the most dangerous hands in the galaxy. Hands that can repair what you break. Hands that can build what you destroy. Hands that can do things you cannot do no matter how hard you try." The council chamber was completely silent. No alien spoke. No alien moved. They all understood now. They had come expecting to see a weak species. They had seen something very different. Kevin pulled back the cloth on the third object. This one was massive. It was the engine from a human starship. The engine showed signs of heavy damage. Kevin explained that this engine had been attacked by raiders 3 years ago. The damage had been thought to be permanent. The colony would have to abandon the ship. "I did not repair this engine," Kevin said, "but I know the human who did. Her name is Lisa Carr. She is an engineer on the Kepler-7 colony. Lisa spent 6 months repairing this engine using basic tools and her hands and her knowledge. The engine now works better than it did when it was first built." Kevin activated the engine on display. The engine hummed to life. The display showed power flowing perfectly through every system. The engine that had been destroyed was now perfect. "Humans do not need weapons to be powerful," Kevin said. "We need hands and minds and time. Give us these 3 things, and we will create wonders. Try to take these 3 things from us, and we will fight to keep them. The choice is yours." 1 year after the demonstration, Marcus Webb was no longer a professor of human studies. He was now the director of human understanding at the Galactic Institute. His title changed because his understanding changed. He could no longer teach humans as if they were a historical topic to study in a classroom. Humans were alive and present and constantly evolving. Kevin Page was offered a position as the official human cultural liaison to the Galactic Council. The position paid well. The position gave Kevin authority to influence how the galaxy understood humanity. Kevin accepted the offer on one condition. "I will take the job if Marcus gets to learn with me," Kevin said. "Marcus has to work alongside me. This is not optional." The council agreed. The condition was unusual, but not impossible. Many aliens began to train with Kevin after the demonstration. Kevin became a teacher of human ways. He taught grip techniques to representatives from 100 different species. He taught history. He taught philosophy. He taught the alien races how to think like humans thought. But Kevin kept his promise. Every evening after teaching other aliens, Kevin taught Marcus in a workshop below the Institute. The workshop smelled like metal and wood and machine oil. Tools hung on the walls. Projects lay on various workbenches. This was where real learning happened. Marcus no longer tried to teach using theory. Marcus tried to learn through his hands and his body and his senses. His hands became strong from the work. His fingers became fast and precise. His eyes learned to see things that books could not show. One evening, 3 months after the demonstration, Kevin and Marcus were working on a piece of broken ship navigation equipment. The equipment was complex. It had been damaged years ago and abandoned. Kevin believed it could be repaired. "Why are you doing it this way?" Marcus asked. He wanted to understand Kevin's thinking. Kevin smiled. It was the same question that Kevin had asked Marcus a year ago in the lecture hall. Now the roles were reversed. "Because I learned this way when I was a child," Kevin explained. "Humans teach children the problems are like puzzles. You do not try to solve the whole puzzle at once. You solve small pieces. You fix one part. Then you move to the next part. Soon all the pieces are fixed and the whole machine works again." Marcus watched carefully as Kevin worked. Kevin explained every decision. Kevin showed every step. Kevin did not just show Marcus what to do. Kevin showed Marcus how to think about what to do. "The metal here is bent," Kevin said, pointing to a specific section. "But it is bent for a reason. The original engineer bent it this way to make the equipment fit inside the ship. I cannot just bend it back. I have to understand why it was bent before I can fix it correctly." Marcus listened. He was learning something that no book could teach. He was learning how humans think about problems and solutions. By the end of the evening, the equipment worked. The lights turned on. The display screens activated. The navigation system that had been broken for years now functioned perfectly. It had taken Kevin and Marcus 4 weeks of work to repair it. They worked after hours in the workshop, slowly fixing piece by piece. Kevin looked at his hands. The hands were dirty and scratched from the work. Kevin looked happy. "This is why we do what we do," Kevin said. "We do not fix things to prove we are superior to other species. We fix things because broken things bother us. We want the world to work. We want machines to serve their purpose. We want beauty and function to exist together." Marcus held up his alien hands. They were dirty too now from months of working with Kevin. The hands did not look like human hands, but they moved like human hands. They felt the way human hands felt. The hands had learned to think like human hands think. "I am not human," Marcus said, "but I am learning to see the way humans see." "That is all I am asking," Kevin replied. "I am not asking you to become human. I am asking you to understand what it means to be human. Then you can teach that understanding to others." Months passed. Years passed. The Institute changed from a place where humans were studied as academic subjects to a place where aliens came to learn from humans. Workshops opened in the institute. Humans taught alien students how to repair and build and create. Pix, the young Thelian student, became one of Kevin's best students. The Thelian had always been curious and intelligent, but Pix had never understood practical work until Kevin taught her. Now Pix could repair complex equipment. Now Pix understood why humans valued creation above all else. The Valorian speaker Zix sometimes came to watch Kevin teach. The crystal being could not learn the grip techniques because its body was too different. But Zix learned to appreciate what grip techniques meant. Zix understood now that strength was not measured only in force. Lisa Carr, the engineer from Kepler 7 colony, came to the institute to teach advanced students. Lisa brought with her examples of human engineering that aliens had not thought possible. Lisa showed how humans solved impossible problems by being stubborn and creative, and refusing to accept that something could not be done. David Hayes, a craftsperson from another colony, taught others how to create beautiful objects while making those objects useful. David showed that humans did not separate beauty from function. For humans, beautiful things were meant to work. Functional things were meant to be beautiful. The Galactic Council appointed Marcus to a new position. Marcus would lead the effort to spread human understanding throughout alien civilizations. Marcus accepted because now he truly understood what humans represented to the galaxy. 5 years after Kevin corrected Marcus in the lecture hall, the workshop was nearly finished for the day. Kevin and Marcus were working on a new project together. The project was a time device that an alien civilization wanted to build but did not know how. Humans were consulting on the project. Kevin had always believed that humans had skills that aliens did not have. But Kevin had also learned something important from 5 years of teaching. Aliens had skills that humans did not have. Humans and aliens together could build things that neither could build alone. Marcus picked up a piece of the time device. He examined it carefully using the techniques that Kevin had taught him. This alignment is off by 0.5 millimeter, Marcus observed. The original design did not account for thermal expansion during operation. Kevin nodded. He had been testing Marcus's ability to see problems, just as Marcus had first tested Kevin's knowledge. What do you suggest? Kevin asked. Marcus showed the solution. He explained how a small adjustment to the metal composition would prevent thermal expansion. The solution was simple. The solution was elegant. The solution was something that neither a pure human engineer nor a pure alien engineer would have found. The solution came from someone who had learned to think like both. Kevin looked at Marcus and smiled. The smile was the smile of a teacher watching a student become equal to the teacher. "You are ready now," Kevin said. "Ready for what?" Marcus asked. "Ready to teach others what I taught you. Ready to show the galaxy that humans are not the only intelligent species. But humans might be the species with something special. Something about how we think. Something about how we use our hands and our minds together. Something about our refusal to give up on broken things." That night, Kevin and Marcus sat on the roof of the institute looking out at the night sky. Above them were stars. In some of those stars were human colonies. In others were alien civilizations that were learning to work with humanity. "Do you remember the first time I asked you why you were doing it that way?" Kevin asked. "I remember," Marcus said. "I was embarrassed." "You should not have been embarrassed," Kevin said. "You were honest. You were willing to learn. You were willing to admit that you did not understand something that you had spent your whole life studying. That is the first step to real knowledge." Marcus looked at his alien hands in the starlight. The hands were no longer weak and clumsy. The hands had learned to move with precision. The hands had learned to create and repair and build. "What will happen next?" Marcus asked. "The next generation will come," Kevin said. "There will be new aliens who want to learn. There will be new humans who have new things to teach. The work never ends. We just keep fixing broken things. We just keep building new things. We keep teaching each other what it means to be alive and conscious and willing to create instead of destroy. Years later, when the next generation of students came to the Institute, they found a very different place. They found workshops where aliens worked alongside humans. They found teachers who were not just aliens teaching aliens or humans teaching humans. They found teachers who were both. Teachers who had learned from each other. Teachers who understood that knowledge was not owned by any single species, but was something that all beings could share. Marcus had become so comfortable in the workshop that young students sometimes forgot he was an alien. His hands moved with the same confidence as human hands. His mind thought the same way human minds thought about problems. He was still not human, but he had learned something more important. He had learned that understanding was the bridge between different kinds of intelligence. Kevin watched from the back of the workshop as Marcus taught a class of mixed species students. Kevin saw Marcus explaining grip techniques. Kevin saw Marcus correcting an error gently. Kevin saw Marcus showing a young student how to feel the metal and listen to what the metal was telling.